So as part of today's session, we will take up few topics from the very basics of SQL Server, or the very basics of what is data and what are the different types of data, how is data collected, and the importance of data. And then we will also see how is the data stored, and then I'll give you a brief introduction about the database. And then if we have time, we'll also go through the types of databases which we have in the market, and then the DBMS and RDBMS. So to start with, what is data? Data is nothing but information. The information that we collect from various sources is called data. Let's take an example here. So let's say if a person wants to buy a car, so what does he do? He needs some answers to a few of his questions, like what type of car he want to buy, or what brand he want to buy, or what economy or what mileage does the car should give, what is his budget, will the price of the car falls in under his budget or not. So he has some set of questions before buying a car. So where do he get all these answers from? He may be talking to his friends or colleagues, or he may be Googling it. Okay, so once he does all this process, once he has all these answers, he use these answers or information from his friends. He uses that information to take a decision if he wants to buy a car, or if he wants to quit buying a car, if he wants to postpone, or if he can get some loan, or all that kind of things. Okay, so the information that he gathered from all these sources, from his friends, or it may be from his colleagues, or from Google, or from online. So all this information collected is called data. So data is nothing but it's just the information that we collect from various sources to make a decision, or that data will help you to make a decision. So in this example, the information that he collected from these various sources, it will help him to make a decision if he wants to buy a car, and then which car he wants to buy. Okay, so that is called data. That's a very simple example, but then the same kind of scenarios exist in a corporate level also. It may be a small company or a big company, any company it is. All the companies, all the corporate organizations needs data to make decisions for the future of the company, or to analyze how the company is performing in the current year, or how did the company perform in last year, or how the company will be performing in near future. Okay, so the data analysts, that means whoever is working as data analyst in the company, they will be analyzing the data that they have, and then they will take the decisions, or they will create a report out of this data, and then they will show these reports to the higher management, let's say CEO or someone from the company who takes decisions. So they will project this data in the form of reports to the higher management, and then higher management will be looking at the data, and then they will try to take decisions, or they will try to understand how their business is doing, how the business is going on. All right, so that is the data. Let's take another example. Let's say we have an email application. It may be a Gmail or a Yahoo or any other email application. So when a user wants to sign up for an email account, so he provides some information and that information may be something like his first name, his last name, date of birth, address, and the email ID he wants, and then the password. So what happens once he is trying to sign up? All this information that he provided, that information will be sent to a server where this email application is hosted. Okay. So all this information will be sent to the server. And then this information will be sent back to a text file, let's say text file or any secure place where this information will be stored. For now, let's consider that as a text file. So all the information that the user provides, this information will be saved in this text file. Why do we need to save it? Because when the user wants to sign in to that account, when he provides his email ID and password, so there needs to be some methodology to verify that user ID and password, right? So for that reason, whenever you are trying to create an account, that information will be saved in some secure place because it's needed. It needs to be used, that information. So all this information here, which is being passed from the email application to the server to the text file, that is called data. Okay. So now once the account has been created by the user, when he comes back and when he wants to sign into that account, he will be providing his user ID and password. Okay. So what happens once he provides his user ID and password? That information will again be sent back to the server and to the text file, and then it will verify if that email ID exists in that particular text file. Okay, the email ID exists. What happens if the email ID exists? It will verify if the password provided is correct or not. So once the password is verified and it's correct, it will send back a message to the email application saying that email ID and password are correct, and the user will be able to log into that particular account. So here in our example, this data, whichever we stored in a text file, helped us to make a decision. What is that decision? That decision is whether to validate or whether to give access to that particular user or not. Right? So the data was very important, and then we stored it, and then we used that data back to make a decision for that email application. Okay, so that's one particular example. Let's consider another example. Let's say there is a company called ABC, and then that company manufactures laptops, and it started its business in 2013, and then it does business in 2 states. That means it sells its laptops only in 2 states. Let's say in Texas and Illinois. Okay, so it started manufacturing products or laptops in 2013, and then it started its business selling in Texas and Illinois. So at the end of the year 2013, let's say in December, CEO of the company wants to make a decision on the future of the company. That means he wants to make a decision to he wants to know how many laptops he wants to manufacture for next year. Okay, so for that he will talk to his managers in the company, and then he will ask them to give some numbers or some data so that he can make a decision. So he will be asking like, okay, how many laptops got sold in year 2013 in Texas and Illinois. So the manager provides the information saying 10,000 laptops got sold in Texas and 20,000 laptops got sold in Illinois. So by looking at this information, the CEO of the company, he will come to know, okay, that these are my numbers for 2013, and then based upon the feedbacks and other sources, he will come to know that his business is doing good, and that means he doesn't have any issues with the business or the laptops, so it was performing good. Okay, so taking all that into consideration, he will come to a conclusion that okay, for 2014 he will expect his business to grow, and then he will try to manufacture 15,000 laptops for Texas and 25,000 for Illinois. Okay, so how did he come up with these numbers, 15,000 and 25,000? By looking at the old data. Old data here is the sold data. That means the sold laptops, the number of laptops which got sold in the past year. That means or maybe the current year, 2013. From January to November, he looks at the data, and then looking at the data, he will take a decision for the future. So this past data, which already happened, that means the laptops already got sold. So that data is called historical data. That means the data which got it from our history or from the past. Okay, so all that past data is called historical data. So using that historical data, he came up with new numbers for the future. So here in this example, the CEO took the help of the historical data, and then he made a decision for the future. So this looks as a very simple example, but then in real world, in all the organizations, every company, take it as Walmart or Dell, or it may be any small company or banking sector or insurance company, any company, they need to store the data, and that data will help them to make decisions for the future. So that is the importance of the data. If you don't have any data, in this example, company ABC CEO, if he did not have any numbers for the sold laptops, he cannot. It will be difficult for him to come up with the numbers for the future. Okay, so if he did not have any reference, like 10,000 and 20,000 laptops for the last year, if he did not have any reference, he would have come up with wrong numbers. He would have guessed like, okay, 30,000, and then after next year, all his laptops may have not been sold. Okay, so in order to make a decision, you need some kind of reference. Without reference, you cannot do anything. So that reference is called data. So that data will help you to make decisions for the company. Okay. Okay, so let's get back to the SQL Server, our topics. So now we know what is data. So what are the different types of data that we have? Or let's say we have data, but what it may be consisting of? It may be consisting of characters, like in our example, we were trying to store the first name, the last name. So those are characters or words or alphabets. And then when we were trying to store the date of birth, it's integers. So the data may be of integer type, or it may be of photographs or images. In Facebook, we will be trying to upload our image files. So that image file will be stored in some particular place. So that's also kind of data. And then we'll also see various videos getting uploaded or various audio files getting uploaded on Facebook. So all that is called data. So data is just doesn't mean some characters or numbers. It may be of any type or any format. Let's take an example of a Google Maps. It has straight views, right? So it has all the coordinates and locations. So all that coordinates and locations is called spatial data. That means every location is identified by the spatial data called latitude, longitudes, all that details. So that is called spatial data. And then you may have some big documents. Let's say there's a database, and then you want to store all your resumes. So resume is like, it may consist of 4 or 5 pages. So all this is called data. Okay, so the data may be of any type. Now we'll talk about how is this data collected. In our first example, the email application example, we were collecting the data from the email application web form. Okay, so when a user tries to log into that application, and then when he is trying to enter the information, that information is collected. That means it's collected from the websites. Okay, and then in our earlier example, we were talking about a user who wants to purchase a car. So he was talking to his friends, or he was talking to his colleagues, and then he was doing online. You are all not able to hear me? Hello?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay.
It's getting disconnected.
Okay, I'll continue if you don't have any issues. Okay. So that's one way of collecting the data. So that person who wants to purchase a car, he was trying to ask his friends or colleagues, or getting the information from online. So that's also another way of doing it. There may be many ways of collecting the data. One is like collecting the data by doing surveys, or doing the feedbacks, or let's take an example of Amazon. Whenever users want to, whenever a user or a customer wants to purchase some products, they give all their information, like their first name, their last name, their phone number, and then their address, and then the credit card details. So all that information will be collected. And then not only that, whenever that customer is trying to purchase a product, the Amazon will also capture what kind of product he is trying to buy, what its color, or what its size, or what its price. So all that information is also collected, and then that information they will use it for the future. So that's also one thing. And for the Google Maps, let's say there's a street view for the locations. If you want to look at the street view, all that street view data is all images. So multiple images are stitched together, and then it will be showing on the Google Maps. So all that information is also collected by the video cams or the cars which will be running through the streets, and then they get all the information, and then that's also one way of collecting the data. So there may be various ways of collecting this data. Okay, but for the organizations or the company, once this data is collected, they store it in some secure place. Okay, so that they can, the data analyst or the data analyst or the persons who will be working or analyzing the data, they will be using this particular data. We also saw about what is the importance of the data. It will help us to make decisions for the future of the company. Okay, so where is this data stored? So in earlier days, in 1960s, even before there was no database or nothing, or even if before there was no computers, all this data are we used to store it in some books or some files, and then group it according to the use. Okay, let's say if we want to store some data in data for the groceries which we bought, we may create a file, and then in that file we create the file name as groceries for 2013, and then under that we may create another group of book or a file saying that every month the data is stored in a different page or something. So once we started having these computers, it made us easy to store all this data in the computers through some applications. So initially, before the database in 1960s or 1950s, the data was stored in the form of text files in a computer. Okay, so there used to be some old applications which gathers this data from the text files. But then that was a very tedious process, because whenever you want to have some data stored in the computer, there needs to be some person to manually write down the information that he wants to store, and then there was a lot of manual intervention to store the data. Okay, so that was very tedious process. And then if you want to store some information in one file, and then if you want to get that information back, so you have to go and search in the computer where you stored that file. Okay, so all this was very tedious, and then it was a time-taking process. But then in this world, in this current situation, if you go to Amazon and then if you are trying to find a product, it will be real quick. In fraction of seconds you will get your response. So how does that happen? That is all because of the latest technology or the latest development in the databases. Okay, so the databases are the place where you want to store your data in such a way that the data is stored and then it's also retrieved back real quickly and then in efficient manner. So the databases are the place where you store the data. Okay, so what is a database? A database is nothing but it's a collection of data. So all your data will be stored in the database. Okay, and then there may be applications like in our first example we were talking about email application, and then there is a server, and then there is a database. I think I have cleared up that example. But then once the user, whenever he's trying to sign up for that particular for an email account, when he provided all the information, all his information, that will be going to the database and then it will be stored. But how does it get stored, or how does it capture that information? We will be seeing that in our future classes. Okay, but for now let's understand that a database is a collection of data, and then data is stored in an efficient manner in a database so that we can retrieve the data fast. And then if we want to update some data, let's say in our first example a user gave all his information, and then when he wants to go and update his address, so he will go to his account and then he will go to his account details and then he will update the address. Okay, so when he does that update update task from application side. On the back end, what happens is that data gets updated in the database. So how does all this happen, like storing the data or retrieving the data? Retrieving the data means getting the data or pulling the data out of the database, and then updating the data. All this is called maintaining the data. So all that maintaining of the data can be done in the database by using a database management system. Okay, so that is called a database management system. So now we know what is data, why is the data important, and then why it needs to be stored, and then where is the data stored exactly, and then what software or what it is called to maintain the data in a database. Okay, so let's see what are the different types of databases we have. We have different databases from different vendors, like Microsoft has SQL Server, and IBM has its own DB2 database, and then Oracle has Oracle, like Sybase. There are different types of databases available in the market. So it depending upon the cost, and then depending upon the technologies used in the database, or depending upon the database's functionality or the features each database has, every company will try to, according to their application, they will try to analyze which database they want to use, and then once they have analyzed that, they will install that database in their company, and then they will try to use it. Okay, so we have various kinds of databases, but then the basic concepts of the database will remain across the board. Whatever database you take, the basic concepts will remain the same. If you know how to work on one database, it's not a real big deal to work with other databases. Okay, so that's all about the basics of the databases. Do you have any questions? So DBMS is nothing but it's a database management system, or it is a collection of software Okay, so it's a collection of software which will help the users or the applications to work with the database. In our email application example, there was an email application, so which was trying to connect to the database, and then it was trying to manipulate the data or save the data, okay, or retrieve the data back from the database. So how all that's happening? That's all happening because of the database management system. So database management system is nothing but it will try to create an interface between the users and the application with the database itself. Okay, so using that interface you can work with the data or the database. Okay, so whenever we are saying we are working with the data, that data is in the database, and then how that data will be stored in the database? It will be stored in the form of tables. Okay, so I want to store my grocery information every month. Okay, that way I can have a look at it and then I can say, okay, how much I'm spending every month on the grocery. Actually, let's say it as expenses, not the grocery. So I want to save all my expense information every month. Okay, so I will call this expense Excel sheet as my database. Okay, so let's say that's the database. And then if I open that Excel sheet, I have different sheets in this Excel. Okay, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. Now, if I want to store my information, or maybe the license of this Excel got expired. So if I want to create the grocery sheet or the expense sheet for November, I'll try to rename this particular sheet as November, and then I'll try to create a new sheet for December, and then January for another sheet. Okay, month by month I'm trying to store my information in this Excel file. Okay, so in this Excel file, each sheet is called as table. Okay, so I'm telling in the terms of database. Okay, so if you consider this one Excel file as a database, in that particular Excel file you have multiple sheets, so each sheet can be considered as a table, and in each table you have rows and you have columns. Okay, so you can save this information in all these cells. Okay, so all these columns are also known as fields, F-I-E-L-D-S, fields. And then all this information like 1, 2, 3, 4, all this is called rows or called records. Okay, so you store your information in this Excel. Right now I am not able to type in anything in this Excel. I'll just take I'll just type it here. Okay, so let's say in sheet 1 you want to store expense type, that's your first column. Okay, and then your second column is date, that means on which date you made that transaction. And then the third column is amount. Okay, so let's say the expense type is grocery, and then let's say the date is 2013 October 1st, and then you made $100. Okay, and then expense type of shopping you made on 2013 November 1st, or let's say if we are talking about the same month, $200. So this information will be saved in this particular sheet. Okay, so if you give a name to that particular sheet as November expenses, okay, so that will be your kind of table name. So you are storing your data in this particular table. This table has 3 columns: expense type column, date column, and amount column. Okay, and then what is a column? Column is nothing but it will try to explain what type of data that particular column has. Expense type column will have all the information about what is the type of expense you are storing in that particular column. It may be grocery or shopping or maybe something else. Okay, and then date column has all the information about the dates, and then amount column has all the information about the prices or the amount you spent on that particular expense. Okay, so November underscore exp is a table, and then in that particular table you have 3 columns: expense type, date and amount, and then you have 2 records or 2 rows. This is row 1 and that is row 2. Okay, so that is how you store the data in a table in a database. Okay, so that's just a simple example.